So yes, coming up next, we have Bjorn, Mark, and Blake going to talk about FilmWorks.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
FilmWorks, very exciting. So ever since I can remember, Digital Vision has been sort of like the lead in film grain management and then noise reduction and then a bunch of other technologies. And for a long time, it was in the digital intermediate world, it was proprietary. And about now, Mark will have to correct me. I think about a year or two ago, the company changed hands, and the new company decided to broaden the market and offer the noise reduction and a number of other sort of similar technologies for sharpening and adding grain and all these types of things as OFX plugins. So now instead of sort of bringing you into a single pipeline, you can now use these tools in Mystica and in Resolve, and I'm sure they're looking at other solutions. Blake, help me out here.
Okay, yeah, so I think we'll start off with Mark, and he's going to introduce us. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hello everyone, and thanks for the great intro there. And yeah, that was right. What we've done, we've looked at the market, and our DVO tools, what we call them, have been very only allowed in Nucoder generally, and over the last year or so, we've looked at venturing out to other platforms. And at the moment, we've done a lot of work with Blackmagic and Resolve, Mystica, and also we're doing some work with Scratch as well. And at the moment, we've got a little secret platform where you can come and get those tools at the moment. And then we're hopefully launching our website at the end of the year, or sorry, at the beginning of next year, I should say now. And, you know, and we thought that we'd talk to you guys about it. We've got Bjorn on the call as well, who is a specialist in the DVO tools and everything about how technically they work and how we get the best out of them. But better than that, we've also got Blake, who's going to give us a demo, because he is an operator like you guys. He uses them in everyday life and to great effect. You know, I'm going to hand over to Blake now to show you a demo, really, Blake, I think.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let me go over and let me share my desktop first and bring this up here. And let's bring this up like so. And we've got this here. Okay, good. Okay, so you should be seeing my desktop on Resolve 17. Okay, so I've got a series of clips in here, and then what I've done is actually installed DVO tools. So DVO tools actually shows up in Resolve under the OpenFX plugins. So all you do is click onto here, go into your library, and then afterwards you can just scroll down to the bottom here. And as you can see, I've got all the FilmWorks tools that are here. So for example, we've got the brick wall filter, the chroma filter, clarity, pixel, regrain, and sharpen. So sharpen is effectively a sharpening tool that we have. Regrain for restoring grain to the picture. We also have DVO pixel for repairing dead pixels in the image. Then we have clarity, which is an exceptionally fantastic noise reduction tool. And then we have also DVO chroma to get rid of, for example, like moire and color fringing and things like this. And then we also have the DVO brick wall filter. So if we look at this particular shot that we have here, and I'm going to just show you this without any effect on here. So what I have to do is reshare my desktop again because I've gone to full screen. And let's come back to here. Okay. And share that. Okay. So as you can see, this is the shot without any contour correction or any clarity filters or any processing at all. Now what happens then is that if I come out of this shot here and come back to here again. And let's go to, let's see, where am I here? And come back to here. And, oh, okay, moved over there. That's why, okay. And just resume sharing here, stop my share. And then come up to here, share this again, and like so. Okay, so now what happens is that if I were to apply, for example, clarity to this picture, and I just for, to make it easier, as you can see here, here is the image without any filtering applied. If I apply it, then as you can see here, this is the before and after. And then here, I can then come over here, zoom back out, and then play the clip like so. Now, as you can see, I'm getting full speed playback. And then over here, it allows me to change the amount of processing, the aggressiveness, and all the filtering capabilities can be altered with that. Now, what I've done here is I decided to, this particular shot, I want to apply the sharpening filter to it. So as you can see here, this is with the sharpening that's been applied. If I take this out, you can see that's without, that's with. And then if I come back to here and then come back to full screen like so, and let's just do this in Alt F instead. And you can see here, that's with the contour correction or sharpening tool that has been applied to the picture. And then if I look at it without, that's without. Okay, so then what I'm going to do here is let's come out of this and then come over to this particular one. What I've done here is actually applied all three, both filters here, clarity and sharpening on top of each other here. So as you can see here, this is without, and then this is with now. So as you can see, now we've got both filters actually applied together in tandem. Now, what we do is there is another filter that we have here too, which is regrain. Regrain is perfect, for example, if I want to reapply grain to the picture. And what I usually do is I use the power grade function within Resolve. So in Resolve, what you can do here is apply these presets, store them, and then with every project that you open, it's automatically there for you. So for example, in this shot, I want to apply, as you can see here, if I look here in the picture, there is no grain applied at this point. And then if I come out of this and say, okay, now I want to do a low grain addition, I can preview it just by passing the cursor over it, or I can come over here and just apply a little bit more, or I've made several other ones. I've done very high, I can add on here, or really high, for example. And so to create these presets, it's extremely simple. Basically, we go through, drag it into this area. And so for example, if I come over here and I display my node graph, and then I just take this and just drop it into here and then close this. Now, as you can see, the grain structure has been applied for this shot. And then I have all my parameters on this side here where I can change all the characteristics of this particular function here. And so I can change it color RGB. I can do black, white, red, green, blue, for example, like that. So it makes it for a very, very easy to use and very flexible. And it's also extremely easy to install because, for example, FilmWorks now provides you with a very easy installer. You can just set that up, manages your license and everything like that. You're all set to go. You're all set like that. And so, for example, if you come up to a shot like this, for example, this is a Blackmagic RAW file. and I want to come over and apply, for example, let's do regrain, for example. So what I would do is I do my basic primary correction in the first node, and then afterwards add another node. And then what I can do is I can select which filter I want. So let's say in this case, let's do sharpen. Okay, drop it in there. And then here I can then zoom into the picture and then just see the overall strength, for example. And then I can just come over here and just pick it up like so. And then select which is like so, like that. And then I'm all set to go. And then I can select spatial strength, for example, and then I can see that right there. And then I can zoom out and then see the effect that I've applied. I'm doing a more extreme variant of this just because the fact that if I do it too subtle on the resolution of the zoom display, you're not really going to see that much then. And so, for example, that's the reason why, for example, if we're doing things like brick wall filter and everything, probably the filtering on the Zoom user interface would probably, you wouldn't see so much happening on that. And so basically, this is it. You can actually go through, I've done here various versions of this particular clip. We've done the regrain function on here. And then also we've got here contour correction. So it makes it extremely simple to set up and use. And from an operator standpoint, it's really just a dream to work with it. And so it's very good for this. So Bjorn, is there anything you would like to add here?
Hi, Bjorn here. Yeah, so looking on this, and as you probably see, it was very hard to see anything, but a little bit about clarity, for instance, since we talked a little bit out of it. So this grain or noise management tool differences a little bit because it works with source media. So it traditionally works in red, green, and blue, or YCM, in order to detect it, and it works independently on the different channels. So there's never mixing something. A traditional noise reducer would traditionally work in luminance and chrominance, but that is never the case of what your source is, because they are captured on film, which has different layers for your different colors, and also a Bayering camera. Yeah, you have your red, green, and blue sensor, or a CCD, whatever it is. So it's also very, very good to make sure that you can't get any strangeness out of the tool in that sense.
Yeah, because I find that when you've got extreme motion in when using the DVO tools, you have absolutely no artifacts when you see that. For example, that's why I picked, for example, the shot The Lady on the Beach. We use this always for noise reduction tests and things like that on it. And for example, if I use this with the internal noise reduction tools of Resolve, you'll sometimes see a blurring when she turns her head around, which is totally not visible when you're using it on the FilmWorks tools. Yeah. The clarity tool of tools, for example, and also the other DVO tools, is there going to be a Windows installer for this?
Yeah, there are. There are Windows, there are Mac, and there is even Linux installers.
Oh, there is Linux, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
yeah so
they should be okay.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Another great feature of these tools is that you can put them on multiple times on the same clip. So they work very well concatenated as well if you need to.
Yeah, for example, like what I did here is actually put clarity, sharpen. I could actually put brick wall if I wanted to. I could layer them one after the other on it. And so it makes it very...
I was thinking that you could do clarity twice, though, for example, if you needed.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good thought. Yeah, you can do that too, of course. Yeah. So, for example, if I wanted to do that, I could come over here and even do sharpen twice if I wanted to. Or what I could do on this is let's take display the node graph from this and just put clarity in here, like so, and then put clarity in here like that. Okay. So as you can see here, I've actually got 2 layers of clarity and sharpening as well on the picture. And then you can see if I zoom into the picture and then take out one level, that's one level of clarity out, another level out too. And then without my sharpening here on that. So you can do that. And so it's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. And but what I find that is really excellent when you're doing this is actually using it together with the power grades, because you can actually go through and then layer this up and then bring it across this way. So it makes it for a very easy way for dropping it into a shot and then seeing exactly what's going on. Yeah. And so, for example, here, if I come over on this shot here, and let's come over and display the node graph on this, drop it in here, do it like so, here, close it like that. And then we can just check it before and after. Oh, because that was on there too. Like so. And actually what I've done 2 layers of grain on here because there was already one there. Great. Okay. So, and it doesn't matter on your source material. So for example, if we have this with either, let's come back to there, like so, and we come back to this shot here. And if I want to come over and then put clarity, for example, on here, this one is the sharpening tool, then I can come over here. And let's come back to here and even do clarity here. Okay, and drop that in there. And then I can then come over here and then change the amount that I'm going to apply for that. And then also come over here and zoom into the picture so I can actually see what I'm doing. And then change the aggressiveness. And change it off like that. And then you can change the speed versus quality on here. I usually like to keep it balanced here. And then the preservation of detail, you can change this, for example, and then also sharpness to make sure you don't, adjust this how you want for that. And then if I come over here, then I can then come over and turn that off and then vary that like so. But like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately with the zoom interface, you do tend not to see the very subtle changes if you do sometimes there. Okay. Good, okay. Anything else you'd like to add, Bjorn, or?
Yeah, so one thing we could mention is that the Fieldworks are totally CPU driven. So it is something that requires that your machine has a good CPU in terms of rendering and also like the clarity and stuff. And if you work in large resolution, it could be an idea that you use the render option in Resolve to get a smooth workflow.
Yeah, what I'm doing sometimes also is sometimes I'll use the cache process inside and just cache it.
Just throw up, okay?
Oh, I think we've got somebody left their camera on. Let me just. Okay, good. Okay. But that's why, for example, on these shots, I actually, when I was layering it, I used the cache process and actually cached it to bring it through that way. Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
okay.
So if I just jump in there, Blake, there's been some questions about pricing and licensing.
Sure.
So just to clarify that, yeah, we do support all three operating systems, Linux, Windows,
Okay.
a Mac. And currently it's one license per machine. So we don't do a floating license at the moment, because I know some people have asked in the questions, but that is something, you know, we can look at in the future. You know, this is a brand new adventure for us with FilmWorks. And the pricing is, it's going to be a subscription model, which is a monthly charge for all 6 DVO tools. It will be around $65 a month. But you know, I know we said there is a prize that we're offering as well, which will be a year's subscription for free. And like I said at the beginning of the webinar, we've actually got what we're calling a pioneer page, a pioneer program. So we're inviting people to come and join, and we're doing a discount monthly charge of $40, and that would be for the lifetime of your subscription. So if you carry on, you'll always pay that, and there'll be no price increase. And the other thing that, you know, we'd like to hear from you guys is, you know, at Digital Vision, you know, we've got around 35 different DVO tools as well. And if any of you, you know, have had experience with them, you know, let us know what you want us to sort of put onto FilmWorks. And Blake's got them up at the moment of his backdrop, which I did like, which is all the DVO tools, the 6 DVO tools that we have at the moment. But, you know, let us know, and, you know, we can sort of look into adding more. And we want to offer you what you want as well. So don't let us dictate what we put on to the FilmWorks platform and stuff like that. You tell us, and, you know, hopefully we'll work together and give you something that you want. So in the chat, I'll drop a link to our sort of pioneer program. So if anyone wants to have a look, there's also a free trial on there as well. So you can have a play around, see if you like what you see, and hopefully you will.
Great. Okay. So we're going to do a raffle also of the, so people will actually log into this web address for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So maybe we should put that in the chat area here. And so let me just bring that up here.
I can do that for you, Blake.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Good. Okay. So do we have any other questions from the...
Blake, how easy is it to install with licenses and things? Pretty straightforward?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. They FilmWorks now has an installer, and basically once you go through and run the installer package, don't have it running on here, but well, I can do it here. I can turn this on like so, like here, and that should pop up there. Okay, good. And wait a minute, let me just bring that up. Okay, and then let's come over here. Oh, there it is. Now it's share screen again. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so it comes up like so, and then basically you your license is here. This is also the installer. And then you just come up here and select this, add your license, type it in, click add license, and then you're all set to go. And then this is just the installation to make sure that the software goes in the correct directories and everything like that. And you're all set. And then as you can see, once the license is in, it'll tell you the license okay, and when it expires and things like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay. Stop share for that. Good. But it's, yeah, no, very easy to install. And also the website now is coming together with all the, you know, any data you need and everything like that. You're all ready for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back to the webinar, we compared using the plugin in Resolve as compared to doing it in Nucoda that Kevin was running.
Yeah.
And I think we concluded that, the same. There was no difference by using it through there than there was in the Nucoda in the original tools. So
exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very similar. You find to the one that's actually in Nucoda. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, to jump in, that's a really good point, Warren. It's actually exactly the same. We've taken the Nucoda technology and just allowed it for other people to use it. And the great thing, when I actually demoed Clarity and a few other tools to the guys at Blackmagic, Rohit and Peter Chamberlain, they loved Clarity and that, the dead pixel, because the dead pixel, detects and then corrects, where the one in Resolve, the standard in Resolve, just detects. So they were really pleased about the benefit that it gives the users of, of the application itself.
Mm.
Well, we were sort of asking for it for years, really, and wondering why they wouldn't break it out and they wouldn't do it. But everyone was saying, yeah, we'd love those tools in other programs. So it's great that you're doing it and making them available. So
yeah, and that's one of the things, and that's, I think, the shift in the way we're looking at things. It's about collaboration, I think, because there's not one tool that is best for everyone. It's about, the workflows that, artists and, other people work with. And it's about making their personal workflow the best it can be. And it would be our tools, it could be someone else's tools, but that collaboration of all working together to, produce amazing image.
Yeah. Chris, you'd be a fan of these, wouldn't you? Mr. Young.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've actually, my job has kept me remote, and we have Nucodas in the office, and now we had to move to Resolve to work remotely because they didn't send us home with machines, and I was like, always have been wanting the DVO tools. Amazing.
Cool, man. Yeah, I thought.
Where are you at, Chris? Sorry, just.
I'm a Running Man post.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Bjorn, we have a question on the chat, actually. They're asking, is there any plan for adding other tools to the subscription?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There is. So, like we're doing our Pioneer thing now and see how it's progressing and how if people like it or not. Yeah, so we took some really good tools for this one that we believe, people grading and stuff like that would appreciate. So we took those and launched it like this, and then the future is the future.
Yeah, and one of the things with the Pioneer program that we're running, you get a direct Slack channel to the development team as well. So you get to ask the questions and raise any issues that you might find or not understand with Bjorn and the development team, in Sweden and in London. So it's a great place to, have that conversation. Tell us what you really think and what you really want as well.
Also, we've got a message in the chat. They're asking, when a dead pixel is being fixed, is there any indication to show you that actually that has occurred?
Yeah, there is. So in the box or options in the OFX plugin, there is something called overlay, and that will actually draw a rectangle around every pixel that it detected and corrected. So
okay. And also, I know that DVO FilmWorks tools are using CPU acceleration for this. Is there any way to actually share that between CPU and GPU, or?
No, not at the moment. We've been looking on pushing DVOs onto GPU. But what we can't see is it will not speed up the process. So we stick to the CPU so far, at least. But
that's a really good point you raised there, Blake. One of the things that I've been talking, especially with our chief scientist about the DVO's tools, is about making that dynamic and trying to use the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You know, for me to say it, it's really simple, but you know, for it to work in practice is somewhat difficult. Like Bjorn said, that they're very complicated algorithms, and that dynamic switch is harder than how I just said it to everyone on this.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I know there are some applications when they don't have sufficient CPU power, then they like pop over to the GPUs back and forth and pick it up that way. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the driving point when we do the algorithms, as always been, is perfection. So for us, it never was something that needs to be real time. But it needs to be perfection.
Okay.
And well, in the code and so on, we work a lot with background renders. You can work with renders as well. So it's never obstructive as long as you learn how to work with rendering as you work. And as soon as you're in there, then you will see the benefits out of it. So.
Okay. Great. Okay. We have another subscription question here. Will you ever charge to a no subscription model to avoid subs?
That's something that we're sort of investigating, you know, because at the moment, and the reason why we went the subscription route is really because at the moment, they're very high price point at the moment for everyone. And you're talking currently in Nucoda a couple of $1,000s per license per DVO tool.
Okay.
So you know, we're sort of playing with it. You know, I'm not going to say no in the future. I'm not going to say yes, but it's something that we're going to, you know, hopefully use the market to point us in the right direction.
The other question was regarding licensing. Was the license, is it just for one computer or is it?
Yeah, so currently it's for one computer per license. We're at the very early stages of this endeavor. And so, you know, we're investigating, you know, floating licenses, but then there's a question about earlier on about internet connection and stuff like that. With floating license, we need to have a dial home feature that, you know, if you don't have that internet connection, you can't do to see who's using it, who's not. And so it's something we're looking at.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Great. Okay. I think we're going to be...
we're about to... We unfortunately need to wrap. But, you know, the technology you guys are doing at FilmWorks is just absolutely unbelievable. And I'm loving the pricing, particularly because of the subscription. It certainly makes it way more affordable. Just some great stuff, guys. Thank you so much for sponsoring the event. Thank you so much for, I believe we're doing the giveaway post event, but we're taking down the names. Is that I believe is the plan?
There was a link in the chat that they can just go to and add their own name, and that's for a year's subscription.
Can we have somebody put it back in the chat again? That way,
yeah, sure. I'll do that now.
You know, I'd like as many people to get their eyes on it, and as well as go over to your site and maybe download a demo. So let's talk about what's coming up next in the mixer.